Hi everybody. Here on our channel we like to follow myths and legends and try to figure out exactly what's going on with what. And sometimes, sometimes we got an actual story we can follow and leads we can follow, and that story actually kind of sounds like it might have some sort of truth to it. Other stories we kind of have to look at and go, okay, this is a good campfire story. The Bandage Man is one of those. It's in Cannon Beach. It's supposed to be a 7-foot-tall mummified giant who roams the outskirts of town and makes his presence known on rainy days. And we were there, and we
were there
November.
Yeah.
So I'll put a link to that show on this one. But what we'd like to talk about is how myths and legends can affect a community or the world in general. Sometimes they're just good little stories that you can tell around a campfire, little ghost stories, that kind of stuff.
And then sometimes they could be stories for I don't know, I guess morality implications. Take, for instance, the Tales from the Brothers Grimm, for instance. A lot of those stories were really meant to keep children in line from misbehaving,
Exactly.
Or keep children who become young adults, and well, we all know how hormones rage. Sometimes it's just simply a matter of if you tell a scary story to a child long enough, it gets ingrained in them, they believe it, and they're afraid of the boogeyman. So it served the moral purpose of keeping boys and girls from discovering the birds and bees.
Right. Well, see, the Bandage Man, the whole aspect of that story is it's a fairly new urban legend. It started back in the 80s. Some people say it was started from a group of kids that were caught outside of town, and they were caught speeding back into town, and they were questioned on why were you speeding, and they said, oh, we were being stalked by this thing. So, but it kind of grew from there to the point of, as most stories tend to do, they kind of grow. They become a life of its own.
So basically, it was a bunch of kids, potentially, a bunch of kids caught by the cops for speeding, and when the cop asks, like they always do, why were you speeding? And driver says, got to come up with something different that this cop's never heard before. Oh, and our Bandage Man. I suppose it's a possibility. And then over time, as the story is retold, shit gets added to it, and then it tends to take on a life of its own, which oftentimes it's how legends, myths, stories are expanded upon.
Yep. But on our show, we're going to try to follow more of these stories along. We did a ghost hunt with the spirit box at Battery Russell. That's in another video. Probably put the link in the description below. We got a few little things on the spirit box. Can we honestly say for sure it's a spirit from beyond? Not 100%. But this box, it did get some voices. It was the same voice.
Now, to be fair, because I'm the skeptic here, to be fair, there were people up on the upper level from where we were earlier on in that, in one section where we were earlier on in that video, there were people up above. So naturally, in my mind, I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, maybe we were actually hearing something from someone else, and it kind of just happened to come across at the same time that the box squawked. I don't know. The other thought process that I had is, well, Is it possible that it could be picking up radio transmissions in garbled form? Again, I don't know. I'm always perpetually the skeptic, and we were actually, Darren was actually asking very specific, pointed questions, and I think he was doing it for my benefit, that if there was a spirit from beyond that was going to answer us and answer a very specific question, that would maybe tend to make a believer out of me. Like, specifically, he asked, hey, what's this guy's name? We didn't hear anything. Or, hey, can you say hi to Bill? And no response there. So that only reaffirms my skepticism. But it's an ongoing thing where the more you test a theory, the more you either prove it or you disprove it. And under our new format, we're not really in the business of proving and disproving. We're just putting it out there and let you, the viewer, decide what you think might be going on.
Yeah, our basic new format, instead of debunking or proving real, we're basically just going to get the story and we're going to investigate it. And everything's going to be taped. And at the end of the day, it's up to you, the viewer, to basically make your own decision on, what's going on, what we got, what we didn't get. And these aren't actually full investigations. A full investigation is like 4 to 5 hours, normally at night when there's nobody around. We kind of break the paranormal investigator mode. We're basically doing it down and dirty in the daylight, and we're there for maybe an hour. And we're really not setting up all the gear. If we can find a place that'll let us do it, we will be more than happy to set up all of our gear, do a full investigation. We will look at this from both sides, the skeptic, the believer. We will again present you the evidence, and we will let you decide what it is that we've got. Right now, like I said, we're doing it down and dirty. We're in there, in and out in about an hour, and there's other people there. So yes, like Bill said, there is a possibility of bleed over. There's a lot of contamination from outside sources. It's just one of those situations where until we can build up a little bit of street cred and get more equipment, become more experienced with the equipment, these are going to be down and dirty, but we're going to try and chase everything that we can.
So here's our challenge to you out there in YouTube land. If you like what you see here, we could use the encouragement. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what you're thinking. And, we'll gladly respond.
We will respond every single time.
We kind of want to make this an interactive, so that we want to interact with you, the viewing audience. So, hit us up with some comments, questions, concerns, what have you, and we'll address them. Yeah, we'll make a video and we'll address questions that are asked of us. We'll do whatever. I mean, again, we want to interact with you and we want to have a dialogue. And the only way that we can really gauge on whether we're going in the right direction as far as building this channel up is from viewers like you commenting and giving us feedback. So
yeah.
That's kind of like my challenge to you is, give us feedback, good or bad. I've got pretty broad shoulders. I can take criticism. So, I mean, if you just think I'm just a moron, then, tell me so. If you think that Darren is, has his head up in the clouds, well, tell him so. Yep. We definitely want to educate, we want to entertain, we want to, be viable, obviously, but we also want to just, have fun with it.
Yeah, we want to give you, the viewer, what it is that you would like. We are fully flexible on things. So, if you liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, give us a thumbs down. We can take it. So, till next time.
Toot,
see ya.
toot.